Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum, and you're watching the Theo Nightly video for October 8th, 2019. We're going to talk some stocks in trends. We're going to talk some daily chart positions, and we're going to do our scans for stocks at new 52-week highs. We've done that a lot here in videos. This time, we're going to look at new 52-week lows. Some of the names will appear here, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about that in a moment. We always want to start with the broader picture update, and that is with the S&P. This is the S&P futures. We are playing with, or at, 2911, which is our key gravity spot. That's been the intraday play. The market moved down toward it, pushed a little bit under, held support at 2900, and is pushing back inside, not just, as Don said in last night's video, the volatility box, which is right here. I'll zoom in on that. The volatility box is, roughly speaking, 2935 and 2825. Almost 100 points in this volatility box. Pushed down to the middle of it and then came back inside. And so we're going to be monitoring all these levels as we go through. The midpoint is roughly 2885 in terms of the S&P futures. Just to get a broader perspective, the Nasdaq, its volatility box, roughly speaking, that is 7,800 and 7450 in the middle of that. The Dow mini futures, we drew this trend line last week, had the push up away from it, the push down away from the moving averages, and again inside its volatility box. And for those that trade the Russell futures, maybe a little bit clearer in the Russell, because it has been in a all year, just about all year, sideways trading range. That's taking place between 1600 and 1450. So as I just started the video, I got word that Chair Powell, the Federal Reserve, has announced that they will be in the future. Take this for what it's worth. We'll certainly have future videos and discussion on it later. I just got the headline, came across the news report. We're doing easing quantitatively, but don't you dare call it quantitative easing. Don't you do that. It's not QE. It's not QE, but we're going to go ahead and do the expansion of the Fed's balance sheet, but don't you dare call it QE. They're doing QE. Anyway, so we'll talk about that later. Just a little heads up on the news that just flashed across the screen. So, back to tonight's video. We are taking a look at stocks that are making new 52-week highs and lows. This is our stock scan. If you don't have it inside of the public list, feel free to email us at TheoTrade. We'll get that to you quickly. But it's new yearly highs, new yearly lows. You can also access this on the TheoTrade shared studies page. It's a public scan, new yearly highs, new yearly lows. These are the lows in the S&P 500. And I like to sort these, as I've discussed in prior videos, mainly by sector. And that gives me a sense of what sectors, broadly speaking, are doing well and which ones are not. This also, especially this type of scan, gives me candidates that might be glossed over or missed by more complex scans. We are looking for trending candidates, and we expect the trend in motion to continue. So for example, H&P, which is not Hewlett-Packard, it's Helmerich and Payne, HP, is in the energy sector along with Schlumberger, Occidental, and a few others. FANG is actually not our Facebook and all the other FANG stocks or the technology stocks. It's actually Diamondback Energy. So those are the concentration of energy stocks making new 52-week lows. And we also have communication services. Otherwise, we have a couple of financials. Charles Schwab, which is also making new lows. That's potentially, not making assumptions, but potentially on the back of the zero commissions news. Nonetheless, we have other things, including Carnival Units, which is a consumer discretionary. One real estate. We'll look at these. We'll actually focus tonight's video on the new yearly lows, but just to view the other side of the equation, we'll take a look at the new 52-week highs. By the way, there are roughly speaking 19 stocks in the S&P making new 52-week lows, and in the upside, scan the whole list here. We'll actually go ahead and scan. This is one thing to note too. We want to scan within the S&P 500. See, all the stocks out there making new 52-week highs, but that's not going to help us because volume and liquidity as well. So there are 6. We can easily look at these. And they include DHR, or DR Horton, my apologies, DR Horton, DHI. Lennar Homes, these are consumer discretionary. And then HCP, the others are real estate companies. Equity Residential, UDR, and Mid-America Apartment Communities. These names have continued to be in scans in prior videos and, of course, behind the scenes in other strength or strong stock getting stronger scans for bullish candidates. So they keep showing up in the list. We won't talk about that today. Those are for prior videos. We will, however, focus on the bear candidates, starting with, in no particular order, or I guess ranked by today's percent change. So CBS is actually making new 52-week lows. And again, why do we look at these stocks? What's the point of the scan? How can you put trades on? If you are a type of contrarian trader, which I don't recommend because these things can happen, extended runs essentially, and persistent downtrends, you actually can play a fade or a reversal play. And that could be any number of fades up against levels. But I would recommend doing in-out spreads or bear put spreads or any other type of bearish strategy on a pullback or a retracement. The most recent one being roughly September 11th into this week. And that is a pullback or flag, a bear flag, into the falling moving averages or trend line. That works as well. And we want to put short sell positions or bear put spreads or even bear in-out spreads executed into the touch of the trend line or the move. I'll add the trend line just for reference. The trend line for this particular company, connecting off these 3 points, and it goes down to here, or on the bear flag. So that gives us a window to short into 44 per share, and we will target the prior low. So we're looking for any type of movement in the direction of the trend, away from the moving average toward the prior low or even beyond it. So that's the logic in terms of trade setup, trade execution, trade tactics. But we're going to see these as stocks making new lows and keep them on a watch list. You can certainly play intraday positions into trend days. I'll just show that quickly. For CBS, that is a trend day to the downside. So the idea is that which is weak gets weaker, or stocks that are weak get weaker. And we want to short sell them as an intraday trader, short-term trader, swing trader on the pullbacks or the retracements, usually to moving averages. The same might be true in ADS. Again, look at your liquidity. Viacom, another example. And you can go down the list as well. But on the daily chart, you may have better opportunities or better access to short sell positions. Again, on pullbacks or the flags or the retracements. And these are achieving their targets. So ADS, Viacom, breaking support at 24, making new lows. We have MAC making a little tiny new low. This might be a candidate for a very aggressive bounce buy play, given that bear volume has declined. That's the other way to think about this. If you are of a fade perspective or bounce perspective, that's a good way to short or to buy into a support level or prior low to play a scalp or a quick little swing toward the moving average. I find that more difficult because we don't exactly know when the low is going to occur. We know when the market retraces to a moving average. We know when to play stops, trail stops if you need to do that as well, and then play for exit on targets. And a few more just for the sake of going down the list. AMG, Freeport-McMoRan, copper play. There's Hewlett-Packard, Gap, Go, and some short sell potential on the downside. Occidental continues to show up on trend day scans that I do with you, and additional bear plays or bear flags has occurred. And then ABMD, and the list goes on. FANG, not to be confused with those FANG stocks. Fox Studios, Schlumberger, which you might trade and do in-out spreads or other type of positions, and Carnival. If you're interested, can't let you go without looking at the other side of this. The new 52-week highs, we'll scan this one before we leave. You can see just a few of those and they are UDR. That was a triangle bull play that is making new highs. Equity, EQR, bull flag off the moving average, new highs. MAA, strong trend, persistent trend, bull flag off the moving average, couple of examples, new highs. Linear, that's a big gap. HCP and DHI. There's DR Horton. I knew that was in there somewhere. DHI. So as always, we're going to look at these stocks, and they set up trading plans, trading logic on pullbacks or retracements. But these are just a few names to take a look at within your trading universe. As always, be careful and safe. This is Corey Rosenblum with your Theo Nightly Video for October 8th, 2019.